The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 21st day of February 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman, and Simone Vaughn will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's. Happy Friday, everyone. How's everyone feeling? I got some hate mail yesterday. Some folks were really upset that we didn't show up to work yesterday. Yeah, some folks were really upset we didn't show up to work yesterday. And I was like, well, we did tell you all. We said, we're going to take a day off. We had like triple, quadruple shifts on Tuesday. So we had to do Wednesday and we said we were going to take a day off. So I send on behalf of the TDH team sincerest apologies for taking one day off. All right. How's that? How's everyone feeling about Friday? You ready for the weekend? Like everyone ready? Like it's time to you can't even say time to relax because we work just as hard on weekends as we do. My business partner hit me up this morning. She's like, it's Friday. It doesn't even feel like that. Like Friday means anything anymore when you own and run a business, right? Yeah. Well, see, Derek Henderson. Yep. He says, not allowed to take days off. But yeah, I'm learning this, bro. I am definitely learning this, that taking days off is not necessarily allowed when you are an entrepreneur or, a person of the people. So, all righty. Well, happy Friday to everyone and greetings, everyone. And thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome our colleague, Rajai Denbrook, is coming on to the show to discuss the National Museum of Bermuda. I've said this before. If you're a person who doesn't feel like you got enough about Bermuda history in school, the National Museum of Bermuda is a wealth of information. And I'm really looking forward to speaking with Rajai about it. And I might actually pop up there next week and go live from the Daily Hour Instagram because it's an awesome experience. So happy to have Rajai on to discuss the National Museum of Bermuda. The daily players are things you should know. All right. Things you should know. And what's the question? Oh, these are things you should know. Yeah, you should know this. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's get to today's question, audience. Let's get to today's question. You've probably heard the news that there was an election this past week in Bermuda. Yeah, I know some of you didn't know, so I'm just letting you know. And in that election, the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party came away with 25 seats, which means they are the government. And because they are the government, the premier, who is the leader of the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, has to name a cabinet. The cabinet is the working group who oversees different ministries in Bermuda that pretty much runs the country. I know you're saying, why are you explaining all that? Because one thing I've realized from doing this show is some of us just don't know what we don't know. All right. I remember after the 2017 election, Chris Famous beat Bob Richards down in C11, I think it was. And people were like, oh, he should be named the senator. He's an MP. Y'all don't know how this works. And then some of the same people now experts in politics. But anyway, moving on. Question of the morning. It's Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. Don't forget, you can go on mailboxes.bm/thedailyhour and get yourself 2 free years of membership. And this daily discussion is brought to you by our friends. Well, I'll let Sherry tell you.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All right, big up to Titan Tours as well as Secure Trucking. The question of the morning, folks, who would be in your cabinet? If you were the premier, if you're David Burt, who's going to be your tourism minister? Who's going to be your education minister? Who's going to be your minister of home affairs? Which, again, with the retiring Walter Rabban, that ministry is open. Who's going to be your minister of public works? With the retirement of Colonel David Birch, that ministry is open. Also, yes or no question. Do you think the premier should keep the finance ministry? Yes or no? Do you think the premier should keep the finance ministry? What are your thoughts on that? Yes or no? Yes or no? Should the premier keep the finance ministry? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Sonia Clark said, especially when we're looking for you, you can only see the back of you taking shots. Well, yeah, on my day off, I did go to the range, folks. Yep, I sure did. I was taking some shots yesterday. My apologies, won't happen again. But what are your thoughts? Do you think the premier should keep the finance ministry? Yes or no? Derek Hendrickson says no. Nicole Walker says no. Headley and Swan says yes. Okay. And he's not a Swan, he's a Burt. Interesting. Suzanne Ingham says no. WKD Lama says no. Karen Simmons says no. Reese Sam says no, he should actually leave. Okay. Well, like, what do you mean leave? Leave politics or just leave the ministry? Here's what I'll say to the premier. Hold on to it. The premier said that, he spoke about unity and moving the country forward, and even spoke about working with the FDM and independents, right? Here's what I would say: to practice what you preach. If it's really in the best interest of Bermuda and it's not party, do everything you can, beg maybe, for Curtis Dickinson to come back into the fold. And if he does come back in the fold, have honest conversations with the entire cabinet as to why we should trust his judgment as finance minister, right? Because again, what happens, what the government puts through is pretty much not just on one person, it's on the cabinet, right? So trust him that he's going to make the best decisions in the best interests of Bermuda. So I would say no, not because I think David Burt's done a horrible job as finance minister. I mean, I'm not saying he did a great job. I'm saying that's not even in my thought. My thought is, I think as a country, we can probably agree that there's a better person in the ranks for the job. Yes? So that leads to the other question. Who would be in your cabinet audience? Like, think of it like you all are very honest. You're very intelligent. Who would be in your cabinet? Right now, I think, prior to the election, the Minister of Culture and Tourism, Owen Darrow, does he stay in his position? We have Education Minister Diallo Rabban. Does he stay in the position? We have the AG. I mean, I don't see her going anywhere. Kim Wilkerson, Senate lead, and probably the AG. We have Health Minister, who saw us through a pandemic, right? Kim Wilson, does she stay in the position? Does I believe he was the junior Minister of Finance, Judge Adams. I never know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but does he get a ministry? There's so much to think of, but this is all, what do you believe is best for your country? Again, it's Friday Fun Day. We're having some fun today. Like, let's have some fun. Who would be in your team audience? Think about it. Who would be in your cabinet? Who would you advise the premier to pick for your cabinet? the best cabinet for Bermuda in 2025? Who you got? Personally, I think this should be fun, Derek. Derek says, this ain't fun. This should be fun picking our cabinet. This should be fun picking our cabinet. Who would, but Levette Pemberton says the best one should hold position. Well, who is the best person of the elected 25? Who's the, the best person to be Minister of Education? Who's that? Do we stick with Diallo Urbane? Is he the best person? Jason Hayward, is he still the best person for the economy? Or I shouldn't say still, is he the best person for the economy and labor? I mean, personally, Wayne Furbert, is he still the best person for transport? Who would you like to see in the cabinet? Who would you like to see in the Premier's new cabinet? Who do you think can be most of it? You all are quiet. Don't tell me you don't think anyone elected for the PLP would make a great cabinet minister. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that's what your silence is about. Sonia Clark says, how many of us are thinking whether he will come back or ministers will accept the offer also at this stage in the game? There's a lot to consider if one is truly being objective. Well, that's why I said, I qualified, Sonia. I said, he should be doing everything begging Curtis Dickinson, begging him, knowing that seems to be the consensus of what the country wants. That's why it's not about asking him, it's about begging him, because if I'm Curtis Dickinson, I probably would not want back in the fold based on how things went. But also, if I'm Curtis Dickinson and really wanted what's best for the island and the people believe that I was best in this position, then I would probably have a discussion with the Premier. Again, this is about the country and unity. So they both have a role to play in that. No? Eric Hendrickson said the ministers shouldn't matter in my opinion. It's the PS we need to assess. Absolutely. And I don't think we have enough conversations about the PS and the civil servants who lead the ministries. I don't think we have enough conversations about that. Suzanne Ingham says, picking my cabinet will be all new people and it would not be any of the above. I start fresh with a whole new group. Okay. So who are some new MPs in PLP? I don't think any. Did they get any new MPs? Who's like a new? Oh, Paul Wilmot. He's a new MP. And well, Owen Darrow's a new MP, but he was already a minister. Who else is new? Like who's new that? Trying to think. Did they win any seats that they didn't have last time? I don't know. I don't think they picked up any. I mean, Alexa Lightbourne's a new MP, right? Hadley and Swan says, Bruce Swan says, move Jason Hayward to Home Affairs, move Josh Adams to Economy, Alexa to Public Works. Okay. I don't know. Public Works is a hard one, man. I'm not saying she couldn't handle it. I'm just saying, there's a reason Colonel Birch wanted that and not like national security. That's an interesting one. Levette Pemberton says PLP have a good selection to pick from, but who would you pick? The Premier needs your help. Who would you pick? Who would you say is the best person to appoint people to the tourism board, for instance, the transportation board? They still have a role to play, the ministers. Let's not act like they don't play a key role, right? So who would you advise the Premier to select? Do you ask Renee Ming to come back in the fold? I think an interesting one is going to be, because the Premier said on more than one occasion, he hears people as it relates to education. And for me, I'm like, did he just fire Diallo Urbane as education minister? I'm not trying to stir up trouble, folks, but that's just how it felt. That's how it felt. Hadley and Swan says, Wayne Furbert as tourism minister. Okay. Why not keep him at transport? I think he's doing okay. He's not doing a good job at transport. Alexa to tourism. Why? What's wrong with Owen Darrow? I'm just asking. I'm not saying no to anything you guys are suggesting. Just asking for some depth. Like, who would be in your cabinet? We're dealing with the health crisis in Bermuda, right? Where this PLP had spoken about national health care, right? The healthcare system. Who do you think should lead that as a health minister? Who has the qualifications? Education is a hot topic. It's literally the root of everything, right? Who in that PLP setup do you think would be a better education minister to create the often mentioned education authority? Again, to Derek Hendrickson's point, you want people who are going to lead people in a way that's going to allow them to do the work, right? So who are the people who can do that? Seva Painter says, put Levita back in education. Was she an education minister before? I thought she was youth sport or something. Was she education minister before? I don't think she was education minister before. Are you saying because she was an educator, put her over the education ministry? But I don't think she was the education minister before. Let's go to Instagram. We've got, I missed these comments. Absolutely not to keeping David Burt as finance minister. Okay. And then we've got Just Time Burke saying Miss Ming, Renee Ming for education. Okay. Interesting. All right. Instagram, you hollering. All right. Sancho Durham says, didn't Wayne already take a shot at tourism minister? He was tourism minister prior to 2012. So that was a very long time ago. That was prior to 2012, the OBA becoming government. Hadley and Swan says, Wayne Furbert is doing an amazing job with transport. It's just that he is a people's person with a sweet smile. So we make people ministers because they're people persons and a sweet smile? I think it takes more than that. I mean, politics, yeah, the sweet smile and people person works to get elected, but to run the ministry, might be a little different. I think Minister Tanae Furbert, does she stay overseeing seniors and youth? By the way, you all may disagree. I actually like the idea of youth and seniors together because, in my opinion, I say it all the time, our most vulnerable are the elderly and children. So I actually appreciate that. Seva Pankta says, I remember her being education minister when I was in high school when it was under Jennifer Smith. I believe I could be wrong. High school? I don't think Levita was in politics when we were in high school. And I'm pretty sure we were in high school at the same time. No, I don't think Levita Fogo was ever, I don't think she was ever education minister. Sancho Durham says, I think Owen needs a little more time as tourism minister. I would agree, actually. I would absolutely agree with that. I don't think at this point you can judge Owen Darrow on being a tourism minister. If I take my bias out of the way, I don't think you can judge him on tourism and youth. Is it culture? Youth culture? Not youth. Tanae Furbert has that. It's culture, something, sport and tourism. Culture. I think it's very early to judge him on performance at this point. Hadley and Swan says, no, I mean if he was the minister of tourism. Okay, talking about Wayne Furbert. This is a good one. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says Paul Wilmot will be good to oversee works in engineering. I mean, here's the challenge with that. While I see your point, I'll never forget saying to Glenn Blakeney, who was a former minister and a boss of mine, why don't you, push for telecommunications? And he said, yeah, that would probably be a conflict of interest because he owned a business there. I think it might be seen as a conflict of interest if, like, a person like Paul Wilmot or Zandy Silva were given a ministry like works in engineering. It could be seen as conflict of interest. And we already know that with how things are in Bermuda, we want to avoid anything like that. So make a good suggestion if he didn't have his own company. It's weird because, it's like a hotelier being a minister of tourism. Like, you want the experts, but you want to avoid the conflicts. It's a tough one. Alan Douglas says, Mr. Hendrickson is right. The PS and directors need to be held accountable and more holders under them accountable. Absolutely. I completely, look, if you ask me, and I've said it on this show before, I've said it on this show a couple times or many times, that I think the PS and high-end civil servants get a huge pass when it comes to governing Bermuda. I think they get a huge pass. And this is not to say that they're all a problem, but we know who's truly running the ministries unless there's ministerial interference, right? So I don't disagree with that at all. Teray Toll says, I'd like to see Curtis Dickinson as finance minister again. Sorry, not sorry. Again, and I go back to what I said earlier. That I think the premier and Mr. Dickinson need to bury the hatchet if there's one to be buried. I think in the best interest of the country, they need to work something out. If that means the premier begs Mr. Dickinson to return, so be it. If that's in the best interest of Bermuda, if that means the premier, have some sort of camaraderie and team building exercise with his entire caucus and then the cabinet to understand, look, Mr. Dickinson, we're going to trust him with the economy. Let's get behind him and support him. I think that's what needs to be done. But at the end of the day, I think of all the people in the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party, Mr. Dickinson is probably the person people would trust most with our finance ministry. That's facts. All right. Seven Painter says, okay, you're right. She was elected 2007. I went and Googled it, talking about Levita Fogo. Seven Painter says, but I still think her or Renee Ming would be the best choice for education, as someone said on Instagram. Indeed. Maybe Renee Ming for education. And again, Renee Ming, former minister, had resigned from cabinet or left cabinet. She was the Minister of National Security. Speak about that. Does Michael Weeks remain head of national security? What happens with the gang program with Pastor Leroy Bean now that he's an MP? Does he stay? Folks, these are questions that need to be answered. I know, not so fun Friday, but it is Friday Fun Day, brought to you by our friends at Mailboxes. And this was your daily discussion brought to you by, I'll let Sherry tell you.
The Daily Discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All righty. Thanks again to Titan and Secure for ensuring that we can have these daily discussions with you on a regular basis. Folks, if you haven't already, do me one big favor. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Twitter, Instagram, whatever platform you're on, give us a like, a love, follow, share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Just show us some love. And make sure everyone you know has access to these extremely important community conversations. Let's bring Simone Vaughn in for the Daily Hour News Break, and we'll be followed by Rajai Denbrook, who will be coming on and speak about the National Museum of Bermuda. All righty.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday Fun Day.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
We are happy to hear that, Simone. We are happy to hear that you are good today. How was your first election? How was your first election in Bermuda?
It was surprisingly very easy. I was first things first. I was kind of upset I didn't get an I voted sticker. You know, the places they give you I voted stickers. I was very unimpressed with that. But everybody was really warm. The process went smooth. So, Well,
you know what? I saw some people talking about that, right? I said, that's so true. Like, I voted in 2 U.S. elections and I got a sticker. I'm being honest. Parliamentary registrar. Stickers are important. Maybe just maybe, we would have got a higher turnout if people saw they were getting stickers. Why?
I know.
Because it's proof. It gives us some sort of,
solidarity, national pride.
Don't underestimate the purpose of a sticker. That's all I'm gonna tell you. It works in the U.S. It works.
It really does. It really does.
So what you got for us today?
Yeah, today's Daily Hour News Break is brought to you by People's Pharmacy. So we got some fun stories, some interesting stories lined up for you to give you a mental break from all this political talk. I know it can get kind of overwhelming at times. So if you're a person interested in challenges and charity, this might be of particular interest to you. Here's the story.
The Bermuda Triple Challenge is set to take place soon on March 14th through 16th. The 3-day obstacle course will be held at 3 of Bermuda's beautiful, historical, and cultural landscapes. Individuals can sign up for themselves or as a team. 6 charities will be supported by the efforts of this event, including WinReach and the Duke of Edinburgh Awards Bermuda.
Man, I got tired and started sweating just seeing that.
I know. I was looking through the courses and some of their pictures, and I was like, oh my goodness, if I was more fit, I would do it. But, you know, they probably wouldn't get that much participation out of me just now.
Yeah, maybe Maya could do that. She's training for Bermuda Day Half Marathon. She could do that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it's a funny thing you bring her up because this next story, if she's watching, will probably be of interest to her if she ever comes back to the island soon. For all my coffee lovers, Brew has something special lined up for you guys.
The coffee party at Brew in Hamilton will be happening every Saturday morning starting this Saturday, February 22nd, and continuing all the way through April. Bermuda-inspired coffee, tea, and smoothies will be available for purchase to satiate attendees who will also have the treat of experiencing a live DJ. This is a free admission and alcohol-free event created to encourage community engagement with locals and visitors alike.
I'm glad they added smoothies on there because I have never had coffee. I'm like, well, what's
Really?
it for me? Yeah. You drink coffee?
Yeah, well, I've had coffee. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I would take some tea over anything. So it's glad that they have, all 3 options and probably some other things that they just haven't said, so kind of come you see and find out.
Okay.
Yeah. And also shout out to Maya again. This is where we first met in person. We had a great time at Brew. So I will drink coffee in her honor.
Who, Maya?
Yes.
Oh, you guys met at Brew?
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't invited. Okay, cool. Girls' day
It's
out.
okay. You were off island. It's all right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we are still in February, nearing the end, but it is still Black History Month. And there are some places that, we can visit either by yourself or with friends or family. Here are some of the places.
Around 60% of the Bermudian population is of African descent. The African Diaspora Heritage Trail offers a great opportunity for individuals to not only learn about history, but to walk in the same places where history was made. Places like Cobbs Hill Methodist Church, where a 10-foot statue stands commemorating Sally Bassett, an enslaved woman who was executed due to leading an alleged rebellion, are on the trail. You'll also find Bars Bay Park, Tucker House Museum, and Pilot Darrell Square in journeying the African Diaspora Heritage Trail.
You know what? I may try to experience some of those things next week.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do. Anybody want to jump on board with me? Like, has anyone ever done like a Black History tour? And you know what? I used to always say, why do we celebrate Black history in a majority Black country? But I always tell people I liken Bermuda to South Africa in terms of the population may be majority Black, but economically it's not, right? So I think and the struggle is not. So I think the history is important. My only challenge is, I want us to ensure that we're making this a everyday thing or a year-long thing rather than a month.
Right. And it's always good to, learn something new about history. I'm a history buff myself, so I always make time to, go places. So I'm excited to go to some of these places. I've already been to some of the places. So yeah.
Indeed.
The weather is looking a bit chilly today. We're looking at a cool, breezy day today with a high temperature of 66 degrees and a low temperature of 57 degrees. There is a possibility of scattered showers, and that combined with 35 miles per hour wind gusts will make the temperature outside feel around 41 to 57 degrees. So stay bundled up.
Okay. All right, folks. Well, days of the year, it is In the US, it's National Caregivers Day. Do you, yes or no? Do you know a caregiver audience? Do you know any caregivers, Simone?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, if you know a caregiver, folks, if you know a caregiver, someone who's a caregiver, here's how you can honor them and show them some love today. Write them a heartfelt note expressing like genuine appreciation for them. Treat them to a spa day. Let their hair down, or if they're like me,
Let your thoughts out.
Yeah, that's the one. Share their story. Show people, on social media, like how much you appreciate them. Plan a surprise party for them, or a surprise dinner or lunch for them. Or just simply give a thoughtful gift. But to everyone out there, I'll use my aunt, Janet Maynard. She's a caregiver. To all the caregivers out there, we send you love and gratitude today. Yeah, how's that? I don't have a joke for you all today. I got to get back to my normal joke stuff because the politics, you all made me make some animus. So I'll probably have a joke for you next week. How's that? Yeah,
I
that's
think
good.
that sounds good for the people.
Okay, cool. For the people, not you.
I mean, I'll laugh at it anyway, but
Ooh, I thought she like silently dissed me just now. And it's like, for the people, like, I don't know. It's all good, man. It's all good. Man, you have a wonderful weekend after such a busy week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you a lot.
All righty. So move on, folks. If you appreciated the conversation, discussion, and news break so far, you know what to do. Give us a like, love, follow, share it with your friends, family, and colleagues. But show us some love. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Rajai Denbrook. After this break, give us about 2 minutes, 44 seconds. We'll be talking about the National Museum of Bermuda. See you soon.
Join us as we celebrate 5 years and 1,000 plus episodes of community conversations on Bermuda's daily talk show. The Daily Hour Gala takes place on April 26th at LF Wade International Airport. For more information and advance tickets, please send an email to admin@bermudacommunications.com. We look forward to celebrating all that's great about our community with all of you.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses. Whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment, we provide 100% guarantee on approved loans. Simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Bermuda Trivia, the Black History Edition, is now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Visit bermudatrivia.com or email contact@bermudatrivia.com to learn more.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Jamel Hartman here. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Please do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got, well, you saw him election night with us, but he's here for the National Museum of Bermuda today. Let's give a warm TDH welcome to Rajai. Raj. Raj, how are you, sir?
I'm all right. I am a little tired. But I'm okay. We're here and everything's great.
I'm just so glad that we didn't do this show the day after the election because, I mean, would have had like an hour's sleep, huh?
Yeah, that would have been disastrous. That would have been setting everybody up for failure. So, and you didn't do that.
We don't want to do that. And fail, it's not possible for Rajai to fail anything. But anyway, I'm going to leave that alone. But Raj, man, it's good to have you, man. It's good to have you. As your big fan Suzanne said earlier, she misses you. So hopefully
Appreciate
you don't. Yeah, she does. Somebody's got to do it, Raj. But speak to the audience about your role with the National Museum of Bermuda and just explain, what it is, because some people may remember it as the Maritime Museum, right?
Yeah. So the museum became the National Museum of Bermuda back in 2002. So it was founded as the Maritime Museum back in 1974. And this museum has over 80,000 objects in its collection that showcase Bermuda history and our heritage, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So I have the incredible privilege and good fortune to be the new learning and engagement officer here at the museum. So I am smack dab, I am at the nexus of all of their education programming. So my role is to devise, develop, and deliver all of their education programs, formal and informal, that touch so that engaging with Bermuda history is a part of everyone's lifelong journey. So not just when you're a student in school, our adult learning programs as well. So we have our teacher professional development program, which has been a hit. And I don't want to, not to go off left to center too quick, but yeah, there's lots of little bits.
And audience, I just want to ask, because I've asked this before, audience, let us know, have you been to the National Museum of Bermuda? Yes or no? And if you've been, have you been in the last 5 years? Raj, I don't think people necessarily, for myself, I would go regularly because I would take tourists there when I was working in the Bermuda tourism space. But why is a space like the National Museum of Bermuda necessary?
I mean, any sort of developed jurisdiction with any sort of history has some sort of public institution that is responsible for preserving that history and engaging with that history. And those are usually museums. So a place like Bermuda, with its extremely rich, complex, and nuanced history, definitely needs an institution like the National Museum. And the National Museum is actually legislated. It's our legislated national museum. Bermuda history is extremely complex and extremely nuanced. Mm-hmm. And this museum captures that in such a beautiful way, but not only captures it, but engages with it as well. The amount of information that exists up here that's just on display, and then the wealth of information that the staff here has, and that's in all our preserved objects, in our programs, and in the ways that we help people to access Bermuda history, but like with our Atlantic World Lecture Series. Museums are extremely, extremely, extremely important and essential institutions in any country. And I am very happy to say that I'm working at a place where they get it right. They get it extremely right.
I liken it, and I don't know if anyone in the audience has been to the National Museum for Black History in Washington, D.C. And the way that works is you start deep bottom downstairs in the 1600s and you work your way up to the 2000s, each floor. To me, this is just as important, this space. It gives you a story and an understanding of, things that a lot of people without going just would not know, because most of that stuff I was not taught or told in, education. I don't know what education is like now, like the schools, but you started talking about it earlier, Rajai, but go in depth. Just tell people about the various things we offer at the National Museum of Bermuda.
Yeah, so I mean, the National Museum sits in the Keep Yard. It's Bermuda's biggest fort. And it also includes casemates. They gained casemates gained responsibility for casemates back in 2013. So just infrastructurally, it's an incredible place. It's a 16-acre property. And then you have Commissioner's House, of course, right up on the hill, and the old munitions buildings down in the Keep Yard. So that's the Queen Exhibitions Hall and the boat loft. There's Dolphin Quest is on property. But you have 3 distinct buildings. In the Queen's Exhibition Hall, that showcases artifacts and objects from the various wrecks around the island. And it's fascinating. As soon as you walk in, there's a case for the Sea Venture. So we have artifacts right from the Sea Venture wreck. So to see those right in person behind the glass is extremely profound. I know one day I was down there and they have cowrie shells. If you know, cowrie shells were a former currency in West Africa. And they are like a direct evidence of Europe's involvement. Well, sorry, Europe's, what's a better word for that? Not their involvement, Europe's responsibility for the transatlantic slave trade. And you have cowrie shells from 1690 from one of our wrecks, the San Pedro. And when I first saw that one day, that was very visceral for me. You have gold bars down in there. The kids always like to see that. But up top at Commissioner's House, you have, as soon as you walk in at the front, on your immediate left, you have an exhibit for the transatlantic slave trade. On the right, you have slavery in Bermuda. We have the Azores room for our Azorean and Portuguese community. It tells their story, which is an incredible story. We have Bermuda's connection to the West Indies as well. Of course, we have the Hall of History, Graham Foster's incredible epic mural. It took him 3 years to do, that tells the story of Bermuda history in pictorial form and visual art. And we also have a rotating exhibition room because the museum is really the museum is using art as an entry point to engage with history. So we have Stone on with artwork from John Gardiner. And that exhibit showcases the connection between Bermuda and Charleston, South Carolina, because in the 1700s, Bermuda stone was used to build not only houses, but the foundations of Charleston, South Carolina in the 1700s. And I mean, that's one small example of Bermuda's role in the Atlantic world. So here at the museum, remember, we're looking at Bermuda history. We're not just looking at it locally. We're looking at it in the context of the Atlantic region, because the Atlantic region has been shaped by Bermuda's involvement in some pretty seminal historical occurrences. So I can't even begin the amount that I've learned since starting to work here, getting to nerd out, not just with my education side, with the pedagogy, the theory of teaching and learning, which is where I like to hang out as a professional nerd. But my passions for equity, for justice, for understanding the present, I couldn't be working in a more perfect place in order to really delve into that passion and that curiosity.
Indeed.
I want everybody to be part of that.
No, it's amazing, Rajai. And we did have quite a few people that said no, they haven't been. Shonat Bell, WKD Lama. What would you say to those folks who haven't been? Like, what would you say to them?
Come on, let's go. Come to the museum. So we are, so you know what Frog and Onion is. We are right across from Frog and Onion. The big old gates looks like a castle. That's the entrance to the National Museum. And the museum is inside the keep, like I said, which is Bermuda's biggest fort. And it also includes casemates. And we're actually restoring casemates, doing really, really well. And turning it into a research center for Atlantic World Studies, an international research center for Atlantic World Studies. So that's really, really exciting. Come to the museum. We're free for February at the moment, so entrance is free thanks to our great friends at Butterfield Bank and Renaissance REIT. So for the entire month, we are free for local residents. And on this Sunday coming, we have Community Day, and I'll tell you a bit more about Community Day in a second.
Tell us about Community Day this Sunday. What time? Let's talk about it. You mentioned
10 to 3. So we would have been free anyhow, but we're open 10. We would have been open anyhow. But on that day in particular, we want the community to come out and connect with this museum and enjoy this museum. So Community Day from 10 until 3, we're going to have all kinds of activities and talks going on. We're going to be shooting off the cannons at 12:15 and 1:15. Dolphin Quest is going to be giving demonstrations in the morning, and in the afternoon, they're going to have reduced prices for what they do. So we're going to have in the morning art activity from Shauna Hollis, an interactive communal art activity. We're going to have a talk from John Gardiner, the artist for the Stone exhibit, and Mr. Larry Mills. He's an expert on Bermuda masonry and Bermuda architectural vernacular. We're going to have the St. David's Indigenous community come out and teach us about a Native American dance and perform one for us. Gumbays are going to be closing out the day. Bermuda's Love is going to be by to facilitate. Will Campbell from Bermuda's Love is going to be by to facilitate a conversation on war and conflict, because Bermuda's defense heritage is just as profound as any other part of its history. We are going to have vendors. Bermuda Cupcake Factory is going to be present. Ashley's Lemonade, the hot dog stand. I can't remember which one. Four Ways is providing free chili at lunch. Yeah, it's going to be a very busy, jam-packed day. Or we have another art activity in the afternoon with Jay Commodore. He's a very talented art teacher. Yeah, it's going to be a very jam-packed, very robust, rich day, and we hope as many people can come out to connect with their museum.
Thank you. That folks, Sunday, no excuse. Turn those no's into yeses if you're free, if you have time. We've got a question from the audience. We've got Renee Simmons asking, do you still host special events and weddings there?
You're darn right we do. You certainly do. Yeah, we're open for venue hire. We're available for venue hire. We have a ton of different venues here. So for weddings, parties, corporate events, corporate dinners. Yeah, so you can get in touch with our office, and if you want to receive our venue hire information, yeah, people are always up here. I mean, it's such a beautiful place to create memories and to hold events. So yeah, we're definitely available for that. Last year, the museum had its 50th anniversary party, which was very, very cool, and they were shooting off fireworks right in front of Commissioner's house where the party was. So yeah, if you want the museum to be a part of your memories, yeah, we are definitely open for that.
Okay. We've got an interesting question. Were they goats or sheep? But Sean Smith asking, yes, a very long time ago he visited. Do they still have the goats hanging out?
There's actually sheep. I know the sheep are not here because they're being a nuisance.
Really?
They're getting stuck in gates and whatnot, so they have to be shipped out.
Okay, that used to be part of the experience. I remember seeing them up there. I actually have pictures of them around there eating the grass. I thought it was like keeping costs low, taking the grass and stuff. That's why I thought they were there. Yeah,
I think that was a happy consequence.
Audience, any more questions for Rajai? Raj, look, where can people go? Like, is there a website? Should they follow you on social media to learn more about what's going on and keep notified?
Yep, we're on all social media platforms. Pretty sure I know we're on Instagram. Pretty sure we're on Twitter, but I know we're on Instagram and Facebook. So go find us on there. Also visit nmb.bm to stay up to date with everything that we're doing. And we do have a teacher professional development coming up very, very soon, because one thing that we want to do, obviously we want Bermuda history to be a part of everybody's journey, but we want how people teach history and getting people to engage with history to be more impactful and meaningful. So we use lots of inquiry-based techniques, lots of primary source analysis, structured debate and discursive techniques, and but also infusing everything we do with some really rich Bermuda history. So on our website, you can see our teacher resource guides. The latest one is Freedom Narrative. So we know the written Mary Prince freedom narrative and how the abolitionists used that to help abolish slavery. One that we do not know about, which is not very commonly known, is the one by Benjamin Benson's narrative. So if you're really curious, because we don't really have time to talk about it, just go Google Benjamin Benson. So you have Mary Prince's slave narrative that tells her story as being enslaved in Bermuda. You also have Benjamin Benson. His story is epic. When I tell you it's epic, it's between her, the United States. He ends up in Ireland. And I mean, I'm not doing it justice. I'm just Benjamin Benson. You have to go look it up. It's an incredible story. But we do have a teacher professional development coming up on March the 8th that delves into the freedom narrative story, but also gives our teachers new tools and solid teaching techniques to be able to use in their classrooms to enhance how it is they engage with and teach history.
Indeed. Thanks for that, Rajai. Diane Elliott says, I go to the museum every February, went last Monday, and she said you also have you can be on your email list. So you have the email list, she said. But we did have another comment. Rashida Godwin said, every March I offer the anti-enslavement tour at the National Museum. That's important too. Do you work with other vendors and people in this space to ensure that people are, are covering all bases.
Of course, definitely. The museum understands that first and foremost, we're a community organization, right? And as you know, and even if you take out the cultural lens for a second, we are a third sector organization, and in order for third sector organizations to achieve their goals, you need to be collaborating with organizations in your community and persons who align with what you're doing. So yeah, we definitely rely on our community partners in order to achieve our goals.
Indeed. We've got a question. Carl Otterbridge asking, when will the Casemate Museum open up?
Yeah, so Casemates is actually in the process of being restored right now, and it is incredible the amount of work that they've achieved over there. So Casemates is actually being turned into a research center for Atlantic World Studies. And so it is going to be not just a local research center, but an international research center that's going to enhance, the preservation and research work and archaeological work that the museum already does. I do not know if Casemates is going to be opened as an extension of the museum necessarily. I'm 95% sure that that's going to happen, but I can't say for sure. But I can say 100% for sure that it is being not repurposed. I've used the word 5 times already. Me and my dyslexia, it's gone out of my head. But it's being restored, that's the word, as a research center for Atlantic World Studies.
All righty. Awesome, Raj. Awesome. I mean, audience, this Sunday, 10 to 3, right, Raj?
10 to 3 all day. You can come in the morning, leave at lunch, come at lunch, leave at the end of the day.
There you go. This is awesome. And I encourage anyone who has yet to experience it, just go. Like, you will not regret it. It's going to be, as Mia Chambray says over on Instagram, it's the most beautiful and informative museum. It's an awesome time. I trust me. I'm not just saying that because Rajai is here. It is really, really one of Bermuda's best experiences. You don't even have to be a history buff. Like, if you just want to go and experience something different, there's this thing in Raj, and you know it. But there are a lot of people that say there's nothing to do in Bermuda. Just up in that museum, you can make a weekend's worth of things to do if you take your time and just try to enjoy things. So I appreciate the work they're doing. I'm happy that they have someone like you on their team so that people can actually get things done. So Raj, thanks so much. Keep in touch. Hope to see you up there next week, and all the best, my friend.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody.
All right, Rajai Denbrook, folks, if you appreciated the conversation and information, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Too many of you tuned in not to love, like, and share. Make sure you do that. We will take our final break. We'll be back in 1 minute, 51 seconds. Do not go anywhere. Stick with us.
Being from this little island, like yourself, we knew you needed access to reliable shipping. We set up mailboxes so you can skip all the long waits or held up in customs excuses.
With mailboxes, that won't happen. Get your packages in under 48 hours using our dashboard.
Plus, if you're a planner or headerer, our weekly consolidation service might be for you. We hold your packages in Delaware and ship them together to save you big time on shipping fees.
And with our warehouse being in Delaware, that means 0% sales tax. Pretty cool, right, guys?
Looking for the best care for your pets? Nova's Ark Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Join us as we celebrate 5 years and 1,000 plus episodes of community conversations on Bermuda's daily talk show. The Daily Hour Gala takes place on April 26th at LF Wade International Airport. For more information and advance tickets, please send an email to admin@bermudacommunications.com. We look forward to celebrating all that's great about our community with all of you.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to Rajai Denbrook and the National Museum of Bermuda for trusting this platform to have the conversation. Audience, yes or no? You hanging out? You going to check it out this Sunday or before the end of the month while it's free? Or even during March when Rashida Godwin and Titan give the anti-enslavement tour? Are you going to check it out? I hope you are. I hope you are. It is quite a fascinating experience. It's one of those things where it's like the National Museum of African American History, I think it's called, in Washington, D.C. I went back-to-back years when I was living up north. It's just an experience. It's fascinating. Again, some of the things most of us should know, but it's always interesting in things that we can learn that we didn't. So, as I said, some of us, we just don't know what we don't know. All right. Thanks again to Rajai, though. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. Again, I ask you, if you haven't already, whatever platform you're on, give us a like, love, follow, share. Make sure as many people as you know have access to these community conversations. And let's get the National Museum of Bermuda full of people so that we can have more intellectual conversations about Bermuda and its history. All right, it's time for the Daily Play brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, audience, are you ready? Here we go. What is the name of the actor who plays British comedian Mr. Bean? Diane Elliott got it. Rowan Atkinson. Y'all remember Mr. Bean? He was like on mute. Like, no, you got it right the first time. Atkinson was right, not Atkins. It was not Atkins. You got it right the first time. Don't second guess yourself, Diane. Anna Pam, close. Yep, got it. We'll give it to you. Emily Gildale, yep, got it. All right, you all know what's up. No, be honest. Mr. Bean was funny. He was hilarious. As a child, I couldn't understand, why doesn't this guy talk? If you can make people laugh without saying a thing, you've got talent. Yeah, you've got talent. Anyway, thank you all so much for today. Really enjoyed being back after a day off. Maybe I'll take Monday off too, Can I take Monday off? Can we get another day of rest? Anyway, let's wrap it up today. Look, I'll say this much. We have an elected government, right? Now, as of next Tuesday, we'll know who our cabinet's going to be, the ministers per se. At the end of the day, I think, like the election, people wanted the best 36. I think when it comes to a cabinet, what people want is the people they believe who are best to oversee any ministry. Not necessarily people who have expertise in their spaces, but people who know how to lead and let others manage. That's what we're looking for. At the end of the day, whoever the premier chooses, we're going to have to live with it. Let's just hope that ego aside and Bermuda first leads to a cabinet that truly gives us the best opportunity for Bermuda to be successful in all aspects that it should be. As far as Rajai and the National Museum of Bermuda, please just visit it. Just go. You won't regret the experience. Even if it's a fun time, but it's an educational time, it's an opportunity to learn and self-growth. I'd encourage everyone, even if you can't make it Sunday or during the month of February, just check it out. Reach out to Rashida Godwin at Titan to do one of her tours. Check it out. Take the children, take the family, or go alone. You will not regret it. All right, here's your daily inspiration for the day. Quote, let not the disappointment of any result weigh you down. Let it inspire you to ensure you never feel like this again. End quote. And those are my words to all of you. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday or Tuesday. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. VR is out. Peace.